I found out my grandfather died from a Facebook post. Not a call, not a text. A Facebook post from my cousin Derek showing off his new Mercedes-Benz with the caption, "Grandpa would be so proud. Thanks for the inheritance, Pops. Rest easy." I stared at my phone in the parking lot of the grocery store where I worked. My hands started shaking. Grandpa was dead? When? How? Why didn't anyone tell me? I scrolled through Derek's photos, him at a funeral I wasn't invited to, my cousin Sarah crying at a graveside, my Aunt Margaret in black, Uncle Tom shaking hands with the pastor, a whole funeral, a whole goodbye, and I wasn't there. My grandfather, Vincent Porter, raised me from age 12 when my parents died in a car accident. He was a carpenter who built houses his whole life, not rich but comfortable. He owned his home outright, had some savings, and a small workshop he loved. He'd been sick for months with cancer. I knew that. I'd been calling him every week, until 3 weeks ago when his phone went to voicemail and never picked up again. I thought he was resting, recovering, getting better. I didn't think he was dead. I called Derek immediately. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. "Hello," Derek answered, sounding annoyed. "When did Grandpa die?" I asked. No greeting, no small talk. "Oh, Jake. Yeah, about that." He sounded uncomfortable now. "It was pretty sudden. Last month, we tried to reach you, but your number must have changed or something." "My number hasn't changed in 5 years," I said. "You have it. You've texted me before." Silence on the other end. "Why wasn't I told?" I demanded. "Why wasn't I at the funeral?" "Look, man, it was family only. Close family. Grandpa wanted it small and private. You know how he was." That was a lie. Grandpa loved me, called me his favorite, said I reminded him of himself when he was young. We talked about everything. His childhood, his work, his dreams. "I need to come by the house," I said. "His house. I need to see it, get some of his things." Derek laughed. Actually laughed. "The house is sold, Jake. We had to liquidate the estate, pay off debts, medical bills. You know how it is." "Sold already? It's been 3 weeks. 3.5, Derek corrected. "And yeah, we had a cash buyer. Market's hot, had to move fast." "What about his tools?" I asked. "His workshop? He promised me those. He said I could have them." "Yeah, well, promises don't mean much without a will," Derek said. "And Grandpa didn't leave one, so everything got divided equally among the family, fair and square." "I'm family," I said quietly. "Sure you are. But you're just a grandson. We're children. Direct descendants. That's how interstate succession works, man. Look it up." My hands were shaking worse now. "Who was the executor? Who handled the estate?" "Robert Mitchell, family lawyer. He's been handling Porter family stuff for decades. Everything's legal, Jake, all above board." "I want to see the paperwork," I said. "Can't help you there. Estate's closed, distributed, done." "Sorry, man. That's just how these things go sometimes." He hung up. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, unable to move. My grandfather was dead, had been dead for almost a month, and my entire family had hidden it from me. Sold his house, divided his money, took everything he'd built, and left me with nothing, not even a goodbye. I called my Aunt Margaret next. She was Grandpa's oldest daughter, the one who always seemed the most reasonable. "Aunt Margaret, it's Jake. I just found out about Grandpa. Why didn't anyone tell me?" She sighed. "Oh, Jake, this is awkward. We tried to include you, but Derek said you'd moved away. Changed your number. We couldn't find you." Another lie. I'd lived at the same address for 3 years. "I haven't moved," I said. "Same apartment, same phone, same job. Nothing changed." "Well, that's strange. Derek was very clear that you disappeared, that you weren't interested in family anymore." "That's not true. I called Grandpa every single week until his phone stopped working." Margaret was quiet for a moment. Then, "Look, Jake, I don't want to get in the middle of this. The estate's been settled. Robert Mitchell handled everything properly. If you have questions, take them up with him." "I will," I said. "What's his number?" She gave it to me reluctantly. "But Jake, don't cause trouble. Grandpa wouldn't want the family fighting." She hung up too. I called Robert Mitchell's office. Got his secretary. "I need to speak with Mr. Mitchell about the Vincent Porter estate." "The Porter estate has been closed," she said professionally. "All distributions have been made. I'm Vincent Porter's grandson. I wasn't notified of his death or the estate proceedings. I need to speak with Mr. Mitchell." "One moment, please." I was put on hold for 5 minutes. Then a man's voice, older, professional. "This is Robert Mitchell. How can I help you?" I'm Jake Porter, Vincent Porter's grandson. Why wasn't I notified about his death or included in the estate? Mr. Porter, the estate was handled according to California intestate succession laws. All legal heirs were notified and included in the distribution. I wasn't notified, I said. According to my records, certified letters were sent to all known addresses. Perhaps you moved? I didn't move, and I never received any letter. Mitchell sighed. I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Porter, but the estate has been properly distributed. If you believe there was an error, you're welcome to hire an attorney and challenge the distribution. However, I should warn you that such challenges are expensive and rarely successful. Who told you I'd moved? I asked. The family provided updated contact information for all heirs. Your cousins indicated you were no longer at your previous address. They lied, I said bluntly. That's a serious accusation, Mr. Porter. Do you have proof? I didn't. Not yet. I want copies of all estate documents. I have a right to see them. The estate is closed. Those documents are confidential. I'm an heir, a grandson. I have legal standing. Mitchell paused. I'll have my secretary send you the final distribution summary. That's all I can provide without a court order. Good day, Mr. Porter. He hung up. I sat in my car, feeling sick. My whole family had conspired to cut me out. They'd lied about my address, claimed I'd disappeared, divided Grandpa's estate among themselves, and there was nothing I could do about it, or so I thought. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Grandpa, about the hours we'd spent in his workshop, him teaching me to use tools, to measure twice and cut once, to take pride in good work. Everything I have will be yours someday, he'd told me once. The house, the tools, everything. You're the only one who really cares about this stuff. But he hadn't put it in writing, hadn't made a will, and now everything was gone. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I needed to think, to plan, to figure out what to do. I started researching intestate succession in California. Mitchell was right about one thing. When someone dies without a will, the law determines who gets what. Children inherit before grandchildren in most cases. But there were exceptions and requirements. Proper notice had to be given to all heirs, certified letters to last known addresses, publication in newspapers if heirs couldn't be located. Had they really sent me a letter, or had they just claimed they did? I drove to my apartment building's office. Did I get any certified mail in the last month? Anything I had to sign for? The manager checked her records. No certified mail for Unit 304. Nothing requiring signature. Can you print me proof of that? A statement? She looked at me strangely, but printed a letter confirming no certified mail had been received at my address in the past 60 days. Evidence. Small, but something. Next, I went to the county recorder's office. Public records. I needed to see when Grandpa's house was sold and to whom. The clerk helped me search. Vincent Porter's property had been sold 3 weeks ago. Cash sale, $450,000. Buyer was an LLC called Porter Family Holdings. Can you tell me who owns this LLC? I asked. That would require a separate search with the Secretary of State, but it's public information. I did that search on my phone right there. Porter Family Holdings. Registered owners, Derek Porter, Sarah Porter, and Margaret Porter. They'd bought the house from themselves, through the estate, then probably planned to flip it for profit. My phone rang, unknown number. I answered. Is this Jake Porter? A woman's voice. Older. Professional. Yes. Who's this? My name is Helen Cranston. I was your grandfather's friend. We played bridge together every Thursday for 20 years. I remembered her vaguely. Nice lady. Always brought cookies to Grandpa's house. I heard about Vincent's passing, she continued. I'm so sorry for your loss. He talked about you constantly. Was so proud of you. Thank you, I said, my throat tight. I'm calling because something's been bothering me. About the funeral, about the estate. I went to the service, of course, but I didn't see you there. Vincent always said you were like a son to him. I thought it was strange you weren't there. I wasn't told he died, I said quietly. Silence. Then, that's what I was afraid of. Jake, I think you should know something. 2 months before Vincent passed, he called me. He was very sick. He asked me to witness something. My heart started pounding. Witness what? A document, a will. He wrote out his wishes very clearly, left specific items to specific people, left the bulk of his estate to you. I couldn't breathe. He made a will? He did. I signed as a witness. So did Father Murphy from his church. It was all proper and legal. Do you have a copy? No. Vincent kept the original. He said he was going to give it to his lawyer to file properly. That's why I assumed everything was handled correctly at the funeral. What lawyer? Robert Mitchell? No, Helen said. Someone else. A younger man. Vincent said Mitchell was too close to the family. He didn't trust him to handle things fairly. Do you remember the lawyer's name? I asked, my hands shaking now with hope instead of despair. Let me think. It was something simple, like Anderson? No. Adams? No, that's not it either. She paused. Oh, Atkins. David Atkins. That was it. Vincent said he was a good man, honest, not connected to the family. I was already Googling the name. David Atkins, attorney. Found an office in the same city. Estate planning and probate. Helen, this is important. When exactly did Grandpa sign this will? Late January. I remember because it was right after Martin Luther King Day. Vincent joked about having a dream too, that his family would honor his wishes. And you're sure he was going to file it with this David Atkins? Positive. He called Atkins right in front of me, made an appointment, said he was going to bring the will in the next week. But Grandpa had gotten sicker, had probably gone to the hospital instead, and the will had never been filed. Or had it? Helen, would you be willing to testify to all this? Sign a statement? Of course, Vincent was my dear friend. If his family is doing something dishonest, I want to help fix it. I thanked her profusely and hung up. Immediately called David Atkins's office. Atkins Law. How may I help you? I need to speak with Mr. Atkins about Vincent Porter. It's urgent. Mr. Atkins is in court today. Can I take a message? Tell him Vincent Porter's grandson is calling. Tell him it's about a will that may have been filed in January. One moment. I heard typing. I see a file here for Vincent Porter, but I'll need to verify your identity before discussing it. My heart was hammering. There's a file? Yes, but as I said, I need to verify you're an authorized party before releasing any information. Can you come to the office? Bring identification? I'll be there in 30 minutes. I drove faster than I should have, parked illegally, ran into the office building, found Atkins Law on the 3rd floor. The receptionist was a middle-aged woman with kind eyes. You must be Jake Porter. I can see the family resemblance. Vincent brought in photos of you. She asked for my ID, made copies, had me fill out forms proving my relationship to Grandpa. Mr. Atkins will be back from court in about an hour. He specifically asked me to have you wait if you came in. He said this was important. Can you tell me anything? Is there really a will? She smiled. I shouldn't, but yes, there is. And Mr. Atkins has been trying to contact the estate executor for weeks, Robert Mitchell, but Mitchell keeps saying the estate is closed and won't return calls. Because Mitchell doesn't know about this will, I said, or he's pretending he doesn't. She said nothing, but her expression told me I was right. I waited, checked my phone obsessively, responded to a text from my manager asking if I'd be in tomorrow. Didn't know how to answer that. Finally, the door opened. A man in his 40s walked in, tall, professional suit, carrying a briefcase. Mr. Porter? I'm David Atkins. He shook my hand firmly. I think we need to talk. Come into my office. His office was neat, organized, law books on shelves, framed degrees on the wall. He sat behind his desk and pulled out a file, thick file. Your grandfather came to see me in late January. He was very sick but very lucid, very determined. Atkins opened the file. He told me his family was circling like vultures, that some of them only called when they wanted money. But you were different. You called because you cared. I felt tears forming but held them back. He drafted a will with my help. Very specific, very clear. Left you the house, the workshop, all his tools. Set up trusts for a few charities he supported. Left small bequests to family members, but excluded anyone who'd tried to borrow money from him in the last 5 years. That would exclude Derek and Sarah, I said. They both asked him for loans constantly. Exactly. He was supposed to come back the following week to sign the final version, but he was hospitalized instead. End-stage cancer. I visited him there. Atkins pulled out a document. He signed this will in his hospital room. 2 nurses witnessed it. It's legal, valid, and it specifically revokes any prior wills. Did he have any prior wills? I asked. No, this was his first. He'd been procrastinating for years. So why didn't you probate it? Why wasn't this filed? Atkins sighed. I tried. When I heard about Vincent's death, I immediately contacted the family, spoke with Margaret Porter, told her I had the will and needed to file it for probate. What did she say? She thanked me, said she'd have the family's executor contact me. That was Robert Mitchell. I sent Mitchell a certified letter notifying him of the will's existence. He never responded. Because he's in on it, I said. They all are. Atkins nodded slowly. I suspected as much, but I'm just Vincent's attorney. I'm not an heir. I don't have standing to petition the court on my own. I needed you. You've been looking for me? I asked. For weeks. I had an old address from Vincent's file. Sent letters. No response. Called a number that was disconnected. I was about to hire a private investigator. They told everyone I'd moved, disappeared, that I wasn't interested in family. Atkins's jaw tightened. That's fraud. They deliberately concealed your whereabouts to prevent you from claiming your inheritance. Can we stop them? The estate's already been distributed. Doesn't matter. If there's a valid will, the distribution was improper. We can petition the court to void everything and start over. The real heirs will get what they're entitled to. How long will that take? Months. Maybe a year. Estate litigation is slow, and they'll fight it. Hire lawyers. Claim the will is invalid or that Vincent wasn't competent when he signed it. But he was competent. You saw him. The nurses saw him. I know, and we have medical records proving he was lucid. But they'll still fight because they have a lot to lose. I thought about the house, $450,000, the workshop, Grandpa's tools, some of them antiques worth thousands, his savings, his life insurance. How much are we talking about total? I asked. Atkins checked his notes. Approximately $800,000 after debts and expenses. The house was worth more than they sold it for, by the way. They sold to themselves at below market value. $800,000. My cousins had stolen $800,000 from me. I want to fight, I said. I don't care how long it takes. I want Grandpa's wishes honored. Atkins smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. We spent the next 2 hours going over everything. The will, the witnesses, the timeline. Atkins had documented everything meticulously. First step is filing a petition with probate court. We'll submit the will and ask the court to void the previous distribution. We'll also request an investigation into Robert Mitchell's conduct. Will he get in trouble? I asked. If he knowingly ignored my letters and participated in fraud, yes, he could be disbarred, face criminal charges. At minimum, he'll be removed as executor. Good. He deserves it. Atkins started drafting the petition right there. I'm going to need you to sign some forms, affidavits, statements about your relationship with Vincent and the family's actions. I signed everything. Told him about Derek's lies, Margaret's claims that I'd moved, the certified letter I never received, the Facebook post that's how I found out Grandpa was dead. Social media evidence, Atkins said, typing notes. Good. Screenshot everything. We'll use it to show their consciousness of guilt. What should I do now? I asked. Don't contact them. Don't tell them you found the will. Let them think they got away with it. We'll serve them with court papers when the petition is filed. The shock will be better that way. I like that plan. A lot. How much will this cost me? I asked. I worked at a grocery store, made barely enough to pay rent. I'm taking this on contingency. If we win, my fee comes out of the estate. If we lose, you owe nothing. But we're not going to lose, Jake. I promise you that. I left his office feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Hope. Actual hope. But I followed Atkins's advice. Didn't call anyone. Didn't post anything online. Just went to work. Lived my normal life. 3 weeks later, Atkins called. Petition's filed. Court accepted it. Hearing is scheduled for 2 months from now, and I've got some news. What news? The court appointed a special administrator, someone independent to review the estate distribution and investigate potential fraud. Her name is Judge Ellen Bradshaw, retired, tough as nails. She doesn't like lawyers who play games. That's good for us, right? Very good. She'll have access to all of Mitchell's files, all bank records, everything. If he tried to hide something, she'll find it. When do my cousins find out? They're being served today, right about now, actually. I imagine Derek opening his door to find a process server, Sarah getting papers at her office, Margaret realizing their scheme was falling apart. I smiled, first time in weeks. My phone started ringing an hour later. Derek. I didn't answer. Then Sarah. Then Margaret. Then my Uncle Tom, who I hadn't heard from in years. 15 calls in 2 hours. I ignored all of them. Then came the texts. Derek, WTF, Jake? You're suing us? Over what? There's no will. You're tearing this family apart. Grandpa would be ashamed of you. Margaret, I thought you were better than this. Greed is ugly, Jake. The hypocrisy was stunning. They stole everything and I was the greedy one. I screenshotted every text, sent them to Atkins. He replied, perfect. Keep them coming. Every word is evidence. That night, Robert Mitchell called. Mr. Porter, we need to talk. This lawsuit is unnecessary. I'm sure we can reach a settlement. Talk to my lawyer, I said and hung up. He called back immediately. I blocked the number. The next few weeks were tense. My family tried everything, showing up at my apartment, waiting at my work. Uncle Tom even tried to corner me in the grocery store parking lot. Jake, be reasonable. You're destroying this family over money. I'm honoring Grandpa's wishes, I said. Something you all should have done. There is no will. This lawyer is scamming you. Then you have nothing to worry about. See you in court. I walked away. He tried to follow, but I threatened to call security. The preliminary hearing arrived. I took the day off work, wore my only suit, met Atkins at the courthouse. My entire family was there. Derek in an expensive suit, Sarah with her high-powered attorney, Margaret with Robert Mitchell, who looked nervous. Judge Bradshaw presided. She was in her 70s, sharp eyes, no-nonsense expression. I've reviewed the petition and the response, she said. Mr. Atkins, you claim Vincent Porter executed a valid will naming Jake Porter as primary beneficiary? Yes, Your Honor. We have the original will, signed and witnessed properly. Mr. Mitchell, you claim this will doesn't exist and the estate was properly distributed under intestate succession? Mitchell stood. That's correct, Your Honor. No will was ever filed with this court or provided to me as executor. Yet Mr. Atkins sent you certified notice of the will's existence? Mitchell hesitated. I may have received correspondence, but without seeing the actual will, I couldn't verify its legitimacy. Judge Bradshaw looked at him over her glasses. You couldn't verify it because you never asked to see it. Is that correct? The estate was time-sensitive. Debts to pay. I acted in good faith. We'll determine that. Mr. Atkins, present the will. Atkins approached the bench with the document. Judge Bradshaw examined it carefully. Read every page, check the signatures and witness information. This appears properly executed, she said. Signed by the testator, 2 witnesses, dated, clear language. Who are these witnesses? Nurse Emily Rodriguez and Nurse Sarah Chen. Both were on duty at Mercy Hospital when Vincent Porter signed the will. Both are prepared to testify. And this witness? She pointed to Helen's signature. Helen Cranston, longtime friend of the deceased. She witnessed an earlier draft. The hospital version is the final version. Mitchell jumped up. Your Honor, we need time to review this, to authenticate it. Vincent Porter was heavily medicated. He may not have had capacity. His medical records show he was lucid, Atkins countered. We have doctor's notes from the same day confirming mental competency. Judge Bradshaw held up her hand. Here's what's going to happen. I'm appointing a forensic document examiner to verify the signatures. I'm ordering Vincent Porter's complete medical records, and I'm freezing all assets distributed from the estate pending resolution of this matter. Derek shot to his feet. You can't do that. That money's already spent. Then you better hope this will is invalid, Mr. Porter, because if it's genuine, you'll be required to return every penny. With interest. Court adjourned. We'll reconvene in 60 days. She banged her gavel. My cousins looked terrified. Mitchell looked sick. Sarah was crying. I felt nothing but satisfaction. Outside the courtroom, Derek tried to approach me. His lawyer held him back. Don't. Anything you say can be used against you. Smart lawyer. Too bad Derek didn't listen. This is bullshit, Jake. Grandpa never made a will. This is fake. Then the examiner will prove it, I said calmly, and you'll keep your money. You're doing this for revenge, because we didn't invite you to the funeral. I stopped walking, turned to face him. You didn't invite me because you were stealing my inheritance. You lied about my address, claimed I'd disappeared, all so you could divide Grandpa's estate without me. That's not true. I pulled out my phone, showed him the apartment manager's statement. No certified mail received. Prove you sent me notice. Show me the certified mail receipt. He had nothing to say to that. See you in 60 days, I said and walked away. Atkins and I went to a diner to debrief. That went well, he said. Judge Bradshaw is on our side. I can tell. What happens now? The document examiner will verify the signature is Vincent's. Should take 2 weeks. Medical records will confirm competency. Helen and the nurses will give depositions. It's all formality. The will is solid. And if they try to claim Grandpa was coerced, manipulated, by who? Me? I met him once before the hospital. Helen Cranston? She's a 70-year-old bridge player. There's no evidence of coercion. What about the house they sold? That's the beautiful part. They sold it to an LLC they own, below market value. That's self-dealing, a breach of fiduciary duty. The court can void that sale and force them to transfer the property to you. They won't have the money to buy it back, I pointed out. Not my problem. They'll have to figure it out. Sell their cars, their own houses, take out loans, whatever it takes to make you whole. I liked the sound of that, a lot. The 60 days crawled by. I went to work, saved money, avoided my family's increasingly desperate attempts to contact me. The forensic report came back. Signature was authentic. Handwriting matched known samples of Grandpa's writing. No evidence of forgery or alteration. Medical records confirmed Grandpa was alert, oriented, and competent on the day he signed the will. His doctor had even noted, patient is clear-minded despite physical decline, discussing end-of-life plans with family. Helen and the nurses gave depositions. All testified Grandpa was lucid, understood what he was signing, and expressed clear intent to leave his estate to me. Mitchell tried one last desperate move. Filed a motion claiming I had unduly influenced Grandpa, that I'd manipulated an old, sick man. Atkins destroyed that argument with phone records showing I called Grandpa regularly for years, not just when he was sick. With testimony from Helen that Grandpa spoke lovingly about me constantly. With evidence that Derek and Sarah were the ones constantly asking for money. The hearing reconvened. Same courtroom, same judge. But this time, the energy was different. Judge Bradshaw had clearly made her decision. I've reviewed all evidence, she began. The forensic reports, the medical records, the depositions. The will presented by Mr. Atkins is genuine, properly executed, and represents Vincent Porter's clear intent. Derek slumped in his seat. Sarah started crying again. Furthermore, I find that Robert Mitchell, as executor, failed in his fiduciary duty. He received notice of the will's existence and deliberately ignored it. His actions constitute professional negligence at minimum, possibly fraud. Mitchell's face went white. I'm removing Mr. Mitchell as executor effective immediately. I'm appointing Mr. Atkins as successor executor, and I'm ordering a full accounting of all estate assets and distributions. Judge Bradshaw wasn't finished. As for the estate distribution, it is hereby voided in its entirety. All assets distributed to Derek Porter, Sarah Porter, Margaret Porter, and Thomas Porter must be returned to the estate within 90 days. Margaret stood up. Your Honor, that's impossible. The money's been spent. The house is sold. Then I suggest you find a way to unspend it, Mrs. Porter. Sell assets. Take loans. I don't care how you do it, but you will return everything you took, plus interest at the legal rate. What about the house? Atkins asked. It was sold to Porter Family Holdings, an LLC owned by the defendants, at below market value. That sale is void. The property reverts to the estate and will be distributed according to Vincent Porter's will. If the LLC has resold it to a third party, the defendants will be liable for the difference between what they paid and fair market value. Derek exploded. This is insane. You're destroying us over a piece of paper. Judge Bradshaw's eyes went cold. No, Mr. Porter. You destroyed yourselves through greed and deception. You deliberately concealed your cousin's whereabouts, lied about sending him notice, rushed to distribute an estate you knew was disputed. Those were your choices. These are the consequences. She looked at Mitchell. As for you, Mr. Mitchell, I'm referring this matter to the State Bar for investigation. You may face disciplinary action up to and including disbarment. Mitchell looked like he might faint. Court is adjourned. Mr. Atkins, prepare the necessary orders. I want a full accounting within 30 days. Gavel, bang, done. I sat there in shock. I'd won. Actually won. Atkins was grinning. I told you. We had them from the start. Outside the courthouse, my family tried one last time. Margaret approached, tears streaming. Jake, please, we can work this out. We made mistakes, but we're still family. You treated me like a stranger, I said. Worse than a stranger. You lied, cheated, and stole. We'll make it right. Just give us time. You have 90 days. That's what the judge gave you. Derek was less apologetic. You're going to regret this. We'll appeal. We'll fight this forever. Go ahead, I said. Spend more money on lawyers. Dig yourself deeper. I've got time. Sarah just cried. Didn't say anything. I felt a little bad for her, but not enough to change my mind. Uncle Tom tried the tough guy approach. You think you're so smart? You think this is over? We'll find a way to prove that will is fake. Good luck with that, Atkins said. The forensic evidence is irrefutable. They left in a cluster, talking in angry whispers, planning their next move probably. I didn't care. Let them plan. Let them scheme. The law was on my side now. Over the next 30 days, Atkins did a complete accounting of the estate. What he found was even worse than we thought. The house had been sold for $450,000. Market value was $600,000. They'd stolen $150,000 just on that transaction. Grandpa's tools, some of them rare antiques, had been sold at a yard sale for $3,000. Actual value? Closer to $40,000. His life insurance, $200,000, had been split 3 ways. None reported to the court properly. Savings accounts, investment accounts, all emptied and divided. Total theft? Over $800,000. Maybe more. They're not going to be able to pay this back, Atkins said. Not all of it. Not without destroying themselves financially. That's not my problem, I said. I was surprised by how cold I sounded. But I meant it. The court can order wage garnishment, liens on their properties, seizure of assets. It won't be pretty. Good. Grandpa worked his whole life for what he built. They had no right to take it. The 90-day deadline approached. Derek and Sarah filed for bankruptcy, claiming they couldn't possibly repay what they owed. Judge Bradshaw wasn't sympathetic. Bankruptcy doesn't discharge debts incurred through fraud. Nice try. Margaret tried to negotiate, offered to pay back her portion over 10 years. Atkins and I discussed it. It's up to you, he said. We can accept a payment plan or push for immediate collection. What did Grandpa's will say about her? Atkins checked. He left her $10,000, called her his well-meaning but easily influenced daughter. He knew Derek manipulated her. I thought about it. Margaret had always been kind to me in her way, weak but not evil. Offer her a deal, I said. She pays back her portion over 5 years at market interest rate. But if she misses a single payment, the full amount is due immediately. Generous, Atkins said. Grandpa would have wanted it. Derek and Sarah got no such deal. Atkins went after them with everything. Wage garnishment, property liens, froze their bank accounts. Within 6 months, Derek had to sell his Mercedes, his house, moved into a rental. Sarah lost her condo. I felt no sympathy. They'd tried to steal everything. Now they had nothing. The house reverted to me, Grandpa's house. The place I'd grown up in after my parents died. I walked through it for the first time in years. Someone had cleared out most of his furniture, but the bones were still there. The kitchen where he taught me to cook, the living room where we watched baseball, the workshop out back, the workshop. I opened the door and there they were. His tools, not all of them. The valuable ones had been sold, but his everyday tools, the ones he used for 40 years, were still there. I picked up his hammer. Worn wooden handle. Perfectly balanced. My throat tightened. I'm sorry I wasn't there, Grandpa, I whispered. But I'm here now, and I'm going to make sure your wishes are honored. I spent weeks cleaning the house, painting, repairing, making it feel like home again. Atkins finalized the estate distribution. After all debts, expenses, and his legal fees, I inherited approximately $700,000 in total assets. The house, the remaining tools, what money they'd managed to recover. Grandpa's truck, which Sarah had been using but had to return. You should invest most of this, Atkins advised. Set yourself up for the future. That's what Vincent would want. I did. Put most of it in safe investments. Kept enough to fix up the house and cover expenses for a year. I quit my grocery store job. Started a small carpentry business using Grandpa's workshop. His tools, his legacy. Turns out he'd taught me well. I was good at it. People liked my work. Word spread. Within a year, I had more business than I could handle. Hired 2 employees, expanded the workshop. Named the business Porter & Son Carpentry, in memory of Grandpa and the father I'd lost. Helen Cranston came by one day, brought cookies, just like she used to for Grandpa. "He'd be so proud of you," she said, looking around the workshop. "This is exactly what he wanted, you carrying on his work." "I couldn't have done it without you," I said. "If you hadn't called me about the will, I did what was right, what Vincent would have wanted me to do." We had tea in Grandpa's kitchen. My kitchen now. Talked about him for hours, stories I'd never heard. "He knew they were circling," she said. "Your cousins. He saw it happening. That's why he made the will. He told me, 'Helen, Jake's the only one who loves me for me, not my money.'" I had to wipe my eyes. "He wanted you to have security, to have options, to not spend your life struggling like he did." "I won't waste it," I promised. "I'll build something he'd be proud of." And I did. 5 years after that courtroom victory, Porter & Son Carpentry was thriving. 10 employees, contracts with major builders, a reputation for quality work. I'd bought 2 more properties, fixed them up, rented them out, built real wealth, not just inherited it. Derek never recovered financially. Last I heard, he was working retail, still bitter, still claiming I'd stolen what was his. Sarah moved to another state, cut ties with the whole family. I didn't blame her. Margaret paid off her debt in 4 years. We had an awkward lunch when she made the final payment. "I'm sorry," she said, "for everything. We were wrong, greedy. I was weak and let Derek convince me it was okay." "I know," I said. "Grandpa knew too. That's why he still left you something in the will," she cried. "I didn't deserve his kindness, or yours. Probably not, but that's what family is supposed to be, kind even when it's hard." Robert Mitchell was disbarred. The state bar found he'd knowingly ignored evidence of the will, participated in fraud, and breached his fiduciary duties. He tried to appeal. Failed. Last I heard, he was working as a paralegal somewhere, his law career destroyed. I didn't feel bad about that either. The day I officially took ownership of the house, I found something in Grandpa's workshop, hidden behind some old boards. A letter, addressed to me. My hands shook as I opened it. "Dear Jake, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And if you found this, it means my plan worked. It means you got what I wanted you to have. I knew Derek and Sarah would try something I've known for years. They only call when they need money, only visit when they want something. But you? You called every week, just to talk, to check on me, to tell me about your life. That's why I made sure you'd get everything. Not because I don't love the others, but because you're the only one who loved me. The will is with David Atkins. Good man. Honest. He'll make sure things are done right. Don't feel guilty about this. You earned it. Not through greed or manipulation. Through love. Through being present. Through caring. Build something good with what I'm leaving you. Live a good life. Be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. You were the son I never had. The reason I kept going after your grandmother died. I'm proud of you, Jake. I always have been. Love, Grandpa." I sat on the workshop floor and cried. Really cried. For the first time since I'd learned he was gone, years passed. The anger faded. Not the hurt, exactly, but the sharp edges smoothed. I thought about Grandpa every day, especially in the workshop. Sometimes I swear I could hear his voice. "Measure twice, cut once, Jake. Do it right the first time." I met someone, a woman named Lisa, who appreciated good carpentry and even better men. We got married in Grandpa's house. Small ceremony. Just close friends. Helen was there, Atkins too. The people who'd helped me when I needed it most. We had a daughter, named her Violet, after Grandpa's favorite flower. He used to grow them in the garden. When Violet was old enough, I took her to the workshop, put a small hammer in her hand, taught her to drive a nail, just like Grandpa taught me. "Gentle taps first," I told her. "Then harder when you're sure it's straight." She looked up at me with his eyes. My eyes. The Porter eyes. "Did Great-Grandpa teach you this?" she asked. "He did, and now I'm teaching you, so you can teach your kids someday." "Will I get this workshop when I grow up?" she asked innocently. I smiled. "If you want it, if you love it, if you'll take care of it and honor what it means." "I will, Daddy, I promise." And I believed her, because that's what family is supposed to be. Promises kept. Legacies honored. Love that doesn't come with conditions. Derek called once, years after everything. I almost didn't answer. "Jake, it's Derek. I know you probably don't want to hear from me. You're right, I don't. I just wanted to say you were right about everything. We were greedy. We were wrong. I'm sorry." I was quiet for a long moment. "Okay, that's it?" Just okay? What do you want, Derek? Forgiveness? Reconciliation? A relationship? I don't know. Maybe just acknowledgement that I said it. Acknowledged. Anything else? He sighed. No, I guess not. Take care, Jake. He hung up. I never heard from him again. Did I forgive him? I'm not sure. Some wounds are too deep for forgiveness. But I let go of the anger. That was enough. The business kept growing. Porter & Son Carpentry became Porter & Daughter when Violet started working with me in high school. She had talent. Real talent. Grandpa would have loved her. The house appreciated in value. Worth over $1 million now. But I'd never sell it. This was home. This was legacy. This was where I learned what it meant to build something that lasts. On the anniversary of Grandpa's death each year, I visit his grave, bring flowers, tell him about the business, about Violet, about life. I did it, Grandpa, I say. I built something good, just like you wanted. The wind rustles through the trees, and sometimes I swear I can hear him. I know, son. I know. I'm proud of you. The whole ordeal taught me something important. Family isn't just blood. It's choice. It's loyalty. It's showing up. My cousins were blood, but they weren't family. Not when it mattered. Helen was family. Atkins was family. Lisa and Violet were family. And Grandpa, he was everything. The estate battle is a story I tell sometimes, usually to young people starting their careers, learning about integrity, about doing the right thing even when it's hard. They tried to steal everything, I explain. And for a while it looked like they'd succeed. But the truth came out. Justice prevailed, and I got what Grandpa wanted me to have. Was it worth it? They ask. The fight? The family drama? I think about that workshop, about the business I built, about Violet learning to use Grandpa's tools, about the life I created from what he left me. Every second, I say. Every single second. Because some things are worth fighting for. Legacy, honor, truth, and love. Always love. Grandpa taught me that. In the workshop, in his will, in the way he chose me when everyone else chose greed. I'll spend the rest of my life making sure that choice wasn't wasted. That's my promise to him and to myself, and I intend to keep it.